all. And the very omega-3 rich vegetable has more or less the same amount of omega-3 fatty acids as sunflower oil. Where's the catch? Is it so extremely rich, or is sunflower oil so extremely poor? The latter is the thing. But still, when I mentioned, probably some of you thought, what is he talking about, the best source of omega-3 fatty acids in a vegetable. Vegetables generally are not sources of omega-3 fatty acids. Fish, yes. Some seeds, yes. Flax, especially. But to put it the other way, if for past 100 years, 80% of the oil used in the world would be, or at least in temperate part of the world, would be flaxseed oil, today they will market and we will read, do not use omega-3, take omega-6, take omega-6. There are only two acids important from each group. Linoleic from omega-6 group. Again, I'm a bit technical, but I will be pretty short. And linolenic from omega-3 group. There are two types, alpha and gamma. And both are, that means linoleic, omega-6, and linolenic, alpha is predominant, are the only two essential. That means that we really need to ingest them, to take them through food, so the body can transform these only two fatty acids into all other acids. That means that also not omega-6 is bad, omega-3 is good. Just the relation between the two and the pattern, the food pattern from past 50 years or so affected what we are now facing. That means way too much omega-6 and way too less omega-3 fatty acids. That's as simple as that. In tropical belt, they don't care about it because they mainly have other fats. Also, oleic acid, it's monounsaturated omega-9. It's not important, it's energy, it's fuel. But we need linoleic, that means 6. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, between 6 and 7 carbon atom is the first double bond, and linolenic, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, between the third and the fourth is the first double bond. That's why it's omega. No, so now I will close with this. Usually, or the average, I have to read this because I cannot remember really everything. Of fats, that means oil of hemp oil, contain about up to 20 or around 20% of omega-3 combined with the dominance of alpha, linolenic acids, and say around plus minus 50% of linoleic, that means 6, which is relatively or very good compared to all other oils. So we already get the package, which we should have otherwise made by combining flax oil and some other oils, reading the labels, calculating, and so on. So here's the package. Minerals, vitamins, I already said, and not to forget about fiber. So these are the generalities which we need not to talk too much about them because you can get in any book or so. Maybe some of the parts which I will list, like the stocks, which I wanted to close my lecture with, but somehow I jumped out. Now we are coming to the second part, which is part used and basic methods of preparation of hemp products. So when we start with seed, we can just crunch it as it is. And it sounds like this, because it still contains the husk, the hull, good for fiber, not that good for eating. Then we have the unhulled, the hulled, that means parts more bitter and tougher were removed. It sounds like this. So different. Because I'm very interested in health benefits of be it plants, animal food, seeds, fruits and so on. But in the case of hemp, yes, it also interests me, but I see that there are so many culinary possibilities with hemp. But one of the more important things is use them as much as you can. Not as an addition, but as a basic. Yeah, so unhulled seed, hulled seed, sprouted seeds. What we have heard before is the initial process of sprouting, germinating, which is stopped just before the small parts of the stem and the roots would come out. For domestic use, now we know that some parts of the nutritional benefits are lost, but still, if you sprout, the only unhulled seeds can be sprouted. When you sprout them, you get like 1, 2, 3 millimeters long sprouts, and then you can use the sprouted seeds on salads and so on, just raw, or mix them in your favorite smoothie or so. The same for unhulled and hulled seeds. Otherwise, I use the unhulled seeds the less. The hulled ones are excellent. You just put them over the salad or into the soup or in any kind of spread or whatever. Then, when we start to grow hemp, like I just asked before, it's only 10 times 100 square meters, which is 1,000 square meters at least, and officially you're allowed here in Slovenia to have your hemp field. But what we can do at home, if you have a plate like this, which is usually used for putting different flower balls and so on, put a little bit of soil inside and really thickly cover it with hemp seeds. Water a little bit, cover, leave for a few days. And after a few days, not that only they will start to germinate, also young seedlings will start to rise. And when that big, cut them, eat them, dry. Excellent. When you cut them, they will regrow again. So you can do it like 2, 3 times, and because hemp grows as hemp, in Slovenian we say raste kot konoplja, grows as hemp, that means so very excellent. And then in this kind of crowdy conditions on a plate, it's not that it's not that sensible, but if you just sow a few hemp plants in your garden, or even on a small part, and leave them to be like staying place for the ground that big, when none of your neighbors will say, when we will smoke a joint? Cut the tops, use them in salads, in smoothies, for pasta, whatever. The same way, if you are familiar with nettles, kuprive, or the same way as we are using spinach or Swiss chard, blitva, for strudel, vegetable, a hemp strudel, why not? No, I'm not joking, really, so it's really useful. Indeed, the closest relative, no, later on, otherwise I will be jumping too much again. Yeah, hemp strudel. Yeah, these small dumplings in goulash were with, but it was flour, I think, yeah. Yeah, and then, when the plant is even bigger, still you can use the offshoots, as long as they are tender enough. When they are harder, still then you have to cook them the same way as spinach. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the THC content is as it is. Yeah. But in the past, we have to know, in the past, THC was much higher in industrial hemp. And yesterday I was, but I will forget this, but I will just continue with the parts, products that we can use. So.